Ladies and gentlemen, this is an article that came out on kgns.tv, March 12th, 2018. You know, it seems like no matter what they do, this plague just gets larger and larger and larger. There's more addicts going on to, the illicit drugs on the streets than there are people getting off of the drug. And that's been an ongoing problem. Number two, they can't control this thing, not the way that they're doing it, declaring it public health. And no matter what the junkie does, it's a public health issue. If they commit a crime, that's a public health issue. If they go to jail, oh, they shouldn't be in jail, it's a public health issue. It's amazing how everything has changed when the face of the drug abuser changed. Just saying. Opioid addiction is a national epidemic, and Webb County has seen its fair share of the complications as the number of deaths continue to climb. Now, you want to hear something hilarious? When we talk about the crack epidemic, this is white people's new response. Well, that was a long time ago. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That was during the 80s and 90s, and that really wasn't that long ago at all. A lot of people that went through that epidemic are still alive. A lot of people that were actual dealers and addicts are still sitting in jail. So no, you can't use that long time ago crap. You can go somewhere with that. On the border, the drug of choice is known as black tar, which is a type of heroin that assimilates the consistency of molasses and is the preferred narcotic for many because of its purity. According to the DEA, the narcotic is illegally obtained from our neighboring country, Mexico, where the production of opioids is their number one business. Well, see, it wouldn't be their number one business if so many people in the US was not demanding the drug. In Webb County, the number of deaths related to opioid use are 20 to 25 a year, which is less than any other city in the country, but high for Laredo. According to the Webb County Medical Examiner Office, the deaths are caused as users cut the heroin with the synthetic opioid named fentanyl. Fentanyl is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine itself. Dr. Corinne Stern with the examiner's office says fentanyl and some of these other drugs are becoming highly addictive, and we may need to find other avenues to help patients control their pain. Most of the drug users that die in Laredo are people who travel from outside of the state to buy opioids here. According to the medical examiner's office, local deaths do occur in the city from opioids, but it's minimal. Locals that die from an overdose are those who have been in jail and have not used in a while. So there you have it. A lot of people are traveling into Texas and they are buying these drugs, I guess because they're so readily available. They're right by the border of Mexico and they're dying there. But we're not surprised. I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
In the news tonight, continued talks about the current opioid epidemic across the country have left many worried about the potential problems here locally. With more on the current issues facing Laredo, our KGNS News reporter Lisette Garcia talks to local officials about the situation at hand.
The opioid epidemic has become a national problem. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, overdosing rates nationally rose to 21% between 2015 and 2016. Statistically, about 121 people in the nation die every day from an overdose.
When a person becomes addicted to those substances, sometimes they can no longer have access to those substances because either the doctor no longer will write the prescription, or they can't get them diverted out on the street.
This drug abuse normally starts with the use of hydrocodone or oxycodone prescribed to users by medical doctors for pain.
Fentanyl, and some of these other drugs, and now they're becoming highly addictive. And it might come to a point where some of those classes of drugs may need to be elevated into a Schedule 1, and we may need to find some other avenues to help patients control pain.
Here along the border, the drug of choice is black tar heroin because of its purity.
There seems to be some lax, if you will, attitude about marijuana. That's where it all starts. I guarantee you're not going to find anybody who's addicted to prescription opiates or heroin that didn't start with marijuana.
In Webb County, the number of deaths related to opioid use are 20 to 25 a year. That's less than any other city in the country, but high for a city like Laredo. For Dr. Corinne Stern, this addiction could be preventable.
You know how we need to curb this? Don't legalize marijuana. Because once kids start one drug, then they graduate to a little more potent drug, such as cocaine. And then from cocaine, we see them go to methamphetamines or to heroin. It needs to start at the bottom.
According to James Reed with the Drug Enforcement Administration, cities like Laredo are where the drugs like these make their way into the rest of the U.S.
So we play a vital role here in Laredo in helping to disrupt the transportation and the distribution of these drugs, as well as to identify, investigate, and prosecute the organizations themselves that are responsible.
That's why local authorities consider education to be the best weapon against addiction.
Don't start to begin with, because it's too hard to resolve the problem.
For KGNS News, I'm Lizeth Garcia.
All right, thanks a lot, Lizette. Now, according to the medical examiner's office, local deaths do occur in the city from opioids, but it is minimal. Locals that die from an overdose are those who have been in jail and have not used in a while. Their body loses the tolerance of the drug itself. Opioid addiction is a national problem.
Okay,
And Webb County has seen its
I'm going to
fair
stop
share.
the video right there. So as you heard, it's really nothing that we haven't heard before, but you can see that they don't have control over this plague, and they're not going to get control over it. It is just way too far out of hand. Once you got millions of people abusing a drug, it's impossible to get everybody off of it. So please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell twice and join me on Black Junction TV and blackspot.com. Peace, family.